Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It has been a while since I posted a video, let alone a scrap with me video. To be quite honest, I have not been scrapbooking or doing any sort of memory keeping in a very long time. I think the last thing that I did was finish up my Disneyland mini book, my Disneyland Altered book, and that was it. I have tons of photos from like the first half of this year that have not been scrapbooked in any way, and I don't know, I just haven't felt the urge to scrapbook or anything. I haven't really picked up my art journals either, so I'm sort of like in this weird sort of creative rut. I am working on a new e-course, and it's also been very slow going because sometimes I want to work on it and sometimes I don't really want to work on it. It's very weird. I've been struggling with this weird sort of creative limbo-y type of situation for a while. And yeah, that has been me, and that is why you haven't really been seeing much on any channel of mine, you know, in terms of scrapbooking and art journaling and stuff like that. Anyway, I have a brand new Scrap of Me video for today. I just want to apologize beforehand for the awful quality the second half of this video has, because I actually started making this layout in the late afternoon and it got really dark really fast as I was making it, especially since I sort of did a mixed media thing with the background, which took a while to dry. So if the lighting all changes and it gets all muddy and like disgusting looking, I apologize for that. But I thought you still want to see the process of me making this layout, and I try my best in post to kind of lighten everything up a little bit, but it's still a bit grainy and not the best quality. And again, I apologize for that. But yeah, so I don't even know how this particular layout kind of came about. I was watching a YouTube video of just, you know, someone doing a creative journaling process, and I pulled out my big 12 by 12 album that I kept last year and for this year, because I don't really do like a project life per year anymore, and I never did it in 12 by 12, but I started getting like the urge to do a 12 by 12 pocket page thing, and so last year I started a 12 by 12 pocket page, but it wasn't chronological or anything like that. It was just whenever I felt like doing a 12 by 12 pocket page, I would do one. Whenever I felt like doing a 12 by 12 layout, I would do one. And nothing is chronological. It's just getting photos and memories documented in there. And so it's where I've been keeping like all those pages and everything. So it's chronological in the way I create the pieces, but not so much like how events occur, I guess. And so I was looking through that album because there's not that much in it, and I had like placeholders, I had like photos in certain pockets that needed layouts or whatever like that. And so this photo was on this white cardstock just in the pocket, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I need to scrap that photo for this. And so I kind of matched it to a pocket page layout that I did in the album. So I pulled out a lot of the Cocoa Vanilla, I believe this is the More Than Words collection. I had a lot of the 6x6 papers, and so I pulled those guys out. I pulled out the enamel dots that go with it. I pulled out, you'll see the big lovely word thingy. I think that's from a Cocoa Vanilla line. I don't think it's from More Than Words though. But I just pulled out a lot of Cocoa Vanilla because the pocket page that I did, that this layout is going to sit next to in my album, had a lot of this More Than Words by Cocoa Vanilla studio products in it. Like they had a lot of cards and stuff like that, and so I kind of wanted to match that pocket page in my album. And so I pulled out a lot of that stuff too. And I also pulled out mixed media. Like I was very inspired by Suse Fish for this layout. Like she's been doing a lot of layouts with black paint like just kind of painted, swashed on black paint and stuff, and all the splatters and stuff like that. And I think her layouts are so gorgeous. They are the coolest looking things ever, and I'm just like, oh my god, I love that, I want to try it. But I've always been like very reluctant, especially with the black paint, to try it, because just black is just so bold and everything like that. And so anyway, I gave it a go, because you know what, I'm in this sort of weird limbo rut sort of thing, and I'm just like, it doesn't hurt just to try it, and if it doesn't come out good, then, you know, I can just take the layout apart and do it over again. And so I pulled out my black paint and just went for it. It took a while to dry. I ended up having to get my hair dryer to like blow it out, and you'll see that some of the ink splatters kind of did that little thing that it does when you put wind on it, you know? And I ended up covering most of that up with like butterflies and the little cluster that I made. But so in this process, you would see me just do the paint stuff, and then I put that aside and I worked on my photo cluster. And now I am back, and I am kind of putting everything together on the page, and I end up just kind of putting my photo down and then putting all the butterflies and stuff like that around the little paint sploosh that I have there. And I do actually pick everything up again to add some more splatters, because I kind of wanted to move the photo a little bit like more centered, I guess you can say. But yeah, I'm just using a mixture of, again, of the Cocoa Vanilla Studio More Than Words. I actually had to fussy cut some of the butterflies out of the 6x6 papers, but I'm also layering them on top of the butterflies from crepe paper, the Maggie Holmes Bloom collection. That there was like a sheet of paper that was all butterflies that I had fussy cut. And so yeah, so doing that. And for my title, I'm using two pieces. I'm using the Hello wood veneer, and that was from Heidi Swap. And then I'm using that Lovely Again chipboard piece that is from one of the Cocoa Vanilla Studio lines. I can't remember. I just remember that it is Cocoa Vanilla. And so yeah, so I think here is where I take out my black ink, my black acrylic ink, and I start adding some more splatters, sort of kind of like diagonally, because I have a lot of white space left over in places, and yeah, kind of wanted it more even. And then I just kind of put my thing down there, because I'm like, I am not waiting for these splatters to dry, because I've waited enough, and at this point I realized that my light was going. It was just... It's so interesting how, like, when the sun sets, it like sets faster than you think it ever would. But yeah, and at some point I did turn on my room light, which is why everything gets a little tinge of yellow in the video, because I couldn't see. And I'm surprised that this layout came out as well as it did, because when it gets dark, like, I can't see, especially in my little craft corner. There's really no light that hits it very well, and the colors, like, I could not differentiate the colors in anything. And so I just kind of kept going, because I knew I was using pieces that went together really well, and I basically had like my layout already like finished. Really, I just had to put things down. So yeah, I do end up cutting a lot of that white space to the right, because I realized that like everything was sort of shifted to the left, and so I end up like chopping it off and then adding on the left side some blue kind of painted stripe paper from Felicity Jane. And you will see that in the finished photos, and you can also see a photo of the layout on my Instagram, and I will leave a link down below to the corresponding blog post where you can also check out all the photos too. But I had to do that because there's just too much white on the right side of my page, and I wasn't planning on doing journaling on it, even though I have like the finished layout. I have space on the bottom left to do some journaling, but I'm not a big fan of having my handwriting on my layout, so I tend to just do like, I guess, the art part of it and just not the journaling, even though the pocket page has all the journaling for this photo as well, so I might just leave it blank. But yeah, so that is this layout, and I don't actually record me chopping off the white piece on the side. I actually do that after the fact because I was like, okay, my layout's done, and then I looked at it and I was like, wait, there's a whole strip of white on the right hand side that, you know, looks weird. Like everything's just shifted to the left, and I'm like, you know what, let's chop this off and just add some scrapbooking paper to the left hand side so it looks like a nice cute border. And so here are the photos, and you can see that striped Felicity Jane paper poking through. I actually used the branding strip as well on it, and I think it just balances everything out. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this little process video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye!